The economy right now is unfortunately just doom and gloom. Everyone is losing money, right? And as a result, no one can afford to buy a new car anymore. If you're a family which has 3 children, for instance, normally you'd buy a new Sultan or something like that for them. But because of the bad state of the economy, you can't afford that anymore. So, is there any cars on Grand Theft Auto 4 which is good yet cheap? Well, first I'm going to try this Ingot, which is obviously a station wagon. Now this one is several years old, meaning that this car will be quite cheap in the used car dealers. So for this to be a good family car, it has to be practical and safe. But is it? The Grand Theft Auto 4 crash rating person crashed into this car and he gave it a rating of 4 stars. And as we know, 4 stars is quite good. And it is practical, as we know, because look, it has 5 seats and a big boot, so you can easily carry all of your family items. And oddly, despite it being a cheap car, it does have GPS, which is good, because this car will most likely be driven by a woman, and women have no sense of direction. So far this is looking to be a good family car. But trust me, this is a bad car. It's powered by a 4-cylinder engine, which is not fast enough. See, I am put on full throttle and it's not going very fast at all. And because you're going to have to keep thrashing it to get it going, you'll end up losing a lot of petrol and your engine will break down quicker. Brakes are rubbish. See, no ABS. Handling's rubbish. Ride's rubbish. Interior's rubbish. And this car feels so dull to drive. There is one word that perfectly describes this car. Rubbish. So rubbish. I don't want to drive this car anymore. I'm just going to walk away. I'm going to leave it at a stupid place and just walk away from it. In fact, this has now become one of my least favorite cars in the game, and as a punishment, it deserves to be blown up. That's what you deserve, you stupid car. Ooh, they bought one too, that can die too. So what you may end up doing is buy one of these. The Albany Esperanto. Yes, you can get these ones for quite cheaply these days. It's a 4-door car, and it rides quite well despite it being quite old. But to be honest, do you really want to be seen in an old American car which will most likely break down all the time? No. So what you may be thinking of instead is to buy this, a minivan. Now, there is nothing wrong with buying a minivan. It's a good car. It's practical, spacious, it's safe because it has anti-lock brakes. It's reasonably luxurious and it has a classy interior. But to be honest, this is too expensive. It's out of some people's price range, so we can't buy that. We'll have to find a cheaper yet better car than it. And it is quite slow as well. So what you may want to be thinking of is buying this, the Karen's Dilettante. Yes, it's practical. Oh, it's a really good car, and it is environmentally friendly. So you'll be thinking, yes, this is a car for me. And you're going to be thinking that there is a couple of used ones on the market now for quite cheaply, but it isn't. This is actually a new car, and it is really expensive at $39,000. So, and that is way above some people's price range. So don't bother buying this then. So you may be looking at this then, the Satrum. Now I first met this car on Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, and I actually kind of liked it, because it looks more modern than all the other cars on Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. But this is Grand Theft Auto 4, and there are now cars which look better than it. But it still does look reasonably good. I mean, it's not really that good looking, but it doesn't look as old as some other cars. It has 5 seats and a boot, so you'll be easily able to hold all of your family items like the shopping, like all the items at this supermarket right here in Algonquin. It even has a satellite navigation system, so you'll be easily to get around the entire city easily. But so far, however, it sounds like it's going down the same path as the Ingot. But I can tell you that this car does handle better than the Ingot, and it does ride better as well. But unfortunately, the engine isn't really powerful in this car. And to be honest, do you really want to be seen around driving in a station wagon, which looks kind of fat? To be honest, maybe in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas I would, but not in this game. So, all the cars we've looked at so far are bad. But this one may be the gem that we're looking for. It's called the Feroci. And obviously, it's a company car, the one we have here. And that does tell something. You see, companies only use cars that are cheap and reliable as their company cars. Meaning that the Feroci is a cheap and reliable car. And you're not going to get some cheap plasticky interior for that price. In fact, the interior, as you can see, looks upmarket. This car does not have a GPS like some other cars that we've shown, but this car does have something which other cars don't. Grunt. It has a more powerful engine, and as a result, this car is the fastest car that we've showed so far. I also reckon it handles better as well, and if you're lucky, you'll end up getting a model which has anti-lock brakes. See? It handles quite reasonably well, not supercar handling obviously, but it's probably one of the best handling cars we've reviewed so far. And the ride quality is quite good as well. It's not soft, it's rather firm, which is quite good because some of the other cars here, their ride quality is quite underdamped, which obviously spoils the handling. So there you have it. If you're a family which has 3 children and you can't afford to buy a new car, buy a Feroci. It's your best bet.